A more legal drama for President-elect Trump as New York Judge Juan Merchan sets a sentencing date in that trial for January 10th. That's, of course, just days before Trump's inauguration. The president-elect slamming that judge, who donated to Joe Biden, by the way, along with Democrats. This was in an interview with Fox Digital. Trump said, quote, "This is a political witch hunt by Biden and the DOJ. They want to see if they can get a pound of flesh because every case has failed." Fox News contributor and George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley joins us this morning. Good to see you, Professor. You and I talked about this case on the radio yesterday. I understand Trump's upset about it. I think he's broadly angry that this case was brought in the first place. But in terms of this specific outcome from the judge and this sentencing that's coming, you don't necessarily think this is totally bad news from Trump's perspective. Why?
Well, first of all, this has been a remarkable change of events. This was portrayed as the virtual trial of the century, and we're now looking at a unconditional discharge without any jail or probation. It's like marking down a hurricane down to passing flurries. I mean, it's quite a change. But more importantly, by sentencing Trump, the president-elect will finally have the ability to appeal the case. This case is riddled, in my view, with reversible error. The president's right. This was lawfare. It's been denounced not just by CNN's senior legal analyst. It was denounced recently by a Democratic senator who said it was total BS. Many people in the public view it that way. So this will be the final rallying call of lawfare. But he will not have that orange jumpsuit moment that many people had wanted. He will walk out of that courtroom, either physically or virtually, and he will walk into the White House just 10 days later.
So, Professor, legal analysts seem confident that the judge has indicated here that there's not going to be any punishment attached to this sentence when this proceeding happens days from now. Why are people feeling that way? What is that clue or that indicator from the judge?
Well, I did the coverage of the trial, and after the verdict, I said that this was the most likely result, because not just because of the nature of this case, but most defendants in this position as first offenders would get this type of unconditional discharge. But after the president was reelected, it made that all the more likely. If the judge does not impose limits on his freedom or some type of probationary conditions, it basically diffuses the constitutional issues. Part of the problem here, though, is the timing. Why this judge waited so long? There's a suggestion in the order that if the president appeals and the sentencing is delayed, that Merchan may just leave this in abeyance to suspend it for 4 years. That would be a perfectly horrific result. It would allow this trial judge in New York to hold a leash on the American president for 4 years. It would allow the media to continually portray him as a convicted person who's awaiting sentencing. But there is that chance that if Trump appeals and it's delayed too much, Merchan may carry out that implied threat.
Yeah, so the lack of that occurring, right, and some finality coming to this on January 10th could then allow Trump to go, get sworn in, go about his business as president of the United States, and then his team elsewhere can fight on that appeals front that you were talking about. I know you've been very vocal that you think that there's ample grounds for appeal on reversible error, so we'll be following all of that in the days to come. Jonathan Turley, thank you so much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.